morning all, and thank you, Dr. Vasanthan and Samantha, for making time to join us in explaining how your model of waste segregation and collection is going. For people who are new to the idea and everyone talking about ESRAG, basically ESRAG is an offshoot of the Rotary World. It's called as Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group. You need not be a Rotarian to join it. It is just it is a Rotary Action Group, but anyone can join it. And this group was instrumental in getting the area of focus environment into the Rotary World 2 years back. And we are over 1,700 members all across the world, most of them with expertise in different parts of environment like biodiversity, circular economy, climate solutions, sustainable living, food systems in agriculture, etc. So I'm just going to put the website up on the chat. And if you would like to join or see what's happening, you can even subscribe to the newsletter. Please do so. I'm handing it over to Arun to introduce Clean Coonoor, and then the floor will be open to Dr. Vasanthan. At this, just before Dr. Vasanthan starts his talk, I'm going to mute everyone. Thank you so much for your understanding. Over to you, Arun.
Good day to all of you again. As this is Arun Vadi, like I told you earlier, as the chairperson of projects for ESRAG South Asia, I'm very happy to introduce Clean Coonoor, a town that is just about 30 minutes from the place where I first joined Rotary in Ooty. Coonoor sits in the Nilgiris Biosphere Reserve. It's also part of the Western Ghats, which is a UN heritage site and is marked as one of the 8 hotspots all over the world. So you can imagine what kind of an important segment they're sitting in the middle of, and also attracts a lot of tourists. So there is a lot of influx of material, of people, there's a lot of exchange, and there's a lot of challenges that you do not face in normal situations, in normal topography and other places. In this place, Clean Coonoor, I think was started around 2014, about a decade back, and has been one of those strong forces that has been constantly working, not looking for photo opportunities, not looking for publicity, but really identifying problems and getting to the bottom of it and getting them sorted. They've been involved in things like grassland restoration, watershed body management, construction of culverts, removal of waste, across the board. And if you even try to find out about them, unlike a lot of organizations, where you have photographs of people and their names and what they've done, you will only find work, how you can contribute to work, what the issues are, and how you can do that work. You'll have to really scratch till you come to maybe 3 names. You probably would find Dr. Vasanthan, you'll find Samantha and Mr. Prasannan. Those are 3 names you'll find after a lot of digging. So a lot of selfless, a lot of meaningful service, and more importantly, very, very effective service. When I read one of their lines, it reminded me of something Julius Caesar said. He said, "Vini, vidi, vici, I came, I saw, conquered." One of their main lines is, "We meet, we plan, we do." So all the best to what you're going to do in the future, and congratulations for all that you've done in the past. And we're all very eager to hear what you have to say to us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Shall I go ahead with the presentation?
Please go ahead, Dr. Vasanthan.
Just a minute. Am I audible?
Yes.
Good morning once more to everyone. And my thanks to Rotary Club and all those involved in hosting this meeting and giving me a chance to represent Clean Coonoor and its activities to you all. The topic today is something which says waste to wealth. And it's about successful public-private partnership between our organization and the Coonoor Municipality. And it's going to chiefly focus mainly on solid waste management. So what is waste? There are plenty of definitions, particularly what is municipal solid waste. Mankind, once he became a tool-making animal, started producing waste. The stone axe which he made, the chips from it, was the first trash made by human beings. I don't think any other living organism produce such a thing as waste, but we started producing waste once we started making tools, and after we started sort of living in, giving up hunting gathering and living in close communities, the problem of waste disposal, waste accumulation, and its hazard started. Fortunately, before the advent of plastics, waste was handleable. But now we have such a thing which cannot be degraded, and now it's become quite a nuisance with what you can say large implications. So this is the only satisfactory definition which I could find for what is termed as municipal waste. Waste collected by the municipality. It may be a municipality or even some higher body or maybe a local panchayat or something, or something which is placed at the municipal waste disposal site. And this includes almost everything which is discarded. Can be residential, can be industrial, institutional, commercial, and even of course, construction rubble. All this is considered as municipal waste. And this town of Coonoor, with this population of around 45,000 and another one, 12,000 households, is expected to produce around, say, around 21,000 kilograms. That is around 21 tons of solid waste. Out of this 21 tons, am I audible?
Yes, you are, Doctor.
Out of this 21 tons, we can just ignore 8 tons. That's going to be your construction rubble, your inert waste. The advice which the government is given to disposal of this sort of waste to fill up any empty quarries or maybe potholes, use that away, the construction waste. Next, another 40%, that will be around 8 point some tons, will be your wet waste, and another one 5.6 tons will be your dry waste. And this is produced in an area of just 15 square kilometers. And of course, for a population of 45,000, with some 2,000 odd commercial establishments, 3 gated communities, some 50 odd hospitality industries, some 35 educational institutions, and 4 industries. So these are the beginnings. Actually, the whole story is now going to focus around a dump site. Actually, Coonoor was actually, as far as waste management is concerned, Coonoor was doing far better than most other places in this district. Coonoor was the first municipality to ban plastics. As soon as this move was made by, I think the then collector was Ms. Supriya Shahu, somewhere around 2001. So as soon as the solid waste management rules came into place, our municipality, that is Coonoor Municipality, was the first one to initiate segregated collection. Previously, we were having mixed collection. There were bins, everything was dumped into the bins, which were carted away. We didn't know what had happened to the contents. But now, Coonoor Municipality first brought in as a first step, door-to-door segregated waste collection as 3 streams: dry, wet, and domestic hazards. Dry, as the name implies, is anything which is not what can say decompose. Wet, there's a small subtle difference between international terminology and our terminology. Internationally, anything like paper, which is soiled and soggy, is considered waste. But here, the appropriate term for the wet will be bio-waste or green waste. It's good. Just cooked food or some sort of vegetable waste or meat waste, poultry waste, something like that. Domestic hazardous, we consider your baby diapers, your napkins and such, some what you can say, blood-stained cottons or something like which comes from households as domestic hazardous. And this collection part, the municipality had to cover around 4 divisions. Each division was allotted 2 or 3 vehicles, and they made collection circuits on a daily basis. And from data, whatever data was available and whatever projections were made, we were supposed to collect 5.6 tons of dry and another 8.4 tons of wet waste on a daily basis. So this happened. Actually, vehicles went around picking up garbage from households. Sanitary workers went door to door collecting garbage. And all this was happening smoothly. But the real problem was how to dispose this trash which was collected. Some 13 tons had to be collected. And if collected, how to dispose it. According to the solid waste management rules, they are very chary about landfill. And of course, we have, as part of Clean Coonoor, I'd say landfills aren't a solution at all. And the next option is incineration to dispose waste. That again, you cannot be done over here. For this being a hilly district, there is a Apex Court ban on incineration using single chamber incinerators. Double chamber can use, but double chamber incinerators are, or what you can say, exorbitantly costly. Another one thing, difficult to operate. You need specialized manpower for that. And for the quantum of trash which is produced by Coonoor, I don't think that will be worth it. So only option which was left for the municipality at that time, somewhere around 2016, was to use its erstwhile dump site. The dump site has got a long history. Older marks, maps, say somewhere sketched around 1905 or 1906, mark the area as village cattle grazing ground. But somewhere around in 1930, I think it became a dump site. The municipality has records it's a dump site since 1960. But I have an extract of about Gandhiji's visit to this district where it says he visited the village near that dump site where, as you know, that we got what we usually derogatorily call sweeper class lived. So that dump site should have been in existence right from 1930. And this dump site, the municipality started to use it as for open dumping. But just dumping isn't going to solve anything. And of course, there was a huge pileup. And when there's a pileup of mixed waste, of course, attend to the hazards of emission of methane. And you get your fires, hydrogen sulfide emissions, foul water. However, there is a leachate which gets into the groundwater system. And this soon led to legal implications, and the Green Tribunal was involved. And the Green Tribunal said, either you close it down or take up, clear up this mess and make sure that such a pileup doesn't happen anywhere in future. So as interim measures, the municipality tried to do something about this buildup. So out of the 5.6 tons waste, dry waste generated, some 1 or 1.5 tons were quite valuable. I mean, they had a resale value, for example, like say cardboard or certain types of plastics, metal and other things. So these, the municipality said, it's all over the world, it's been happening. The sanitation staff are there collecting the waste, you sell it yourself. So they managed to get rid of, say, around 1 ton and 1 to 1.5 ton a day to these sanitation staff. And these sanitation staff, they sold them to the local scrap vendors, and it was an additional income to them. But the rest of the 4 tons, again, it was dumped and stored. The municipality invited rag pickers, someone trading with waste, to go through the mess, sip the mess, take whatever they want or buy whatever they want. But again, these measures didn't work at all. And by 2019, the pileup had increased to somewhere around 12,000 cubic foot. Again, wet waste front, it was not rosy. So some 3 tons or something, the municipality tried to dispose it through on-site composting and household composting. And of course, there are the bulk generators, bulk generators, of course, an institution or say something, which is built up over an area of 1.5 acres, 1.25, I'm sorry, or produces 100 kgs of waste every day. So these were they were told to make their own arrangements to get rid of the waste. The rest, the municipality tried to compost it in an almost nearly defunct composting facility, which was functioning right there in the municipal dump yard. They also built a micro compost center, but unfortunately, this was only for 4 tons. And this center couldn't deal with certain waste like your slaughterhouse waste. But I mean, slaughterhouse waste is mainly chicken skin, feathers, guts, and of course, your fish remains. This waste and fibrous waste like your banana stems, something like banana leaves, this micro composting center couldn't sort of handle it. And they tried burying the mess within the dump site. And again, problems started growing and growing. There seemed to be no solution. And this was the picture somewhere around early 2019, a typical dump yard strewn about with waste of all description. And of course, spontaneous fires breaking out. And that's the picture on the right bottom shows some of the municipal staff trying to sort of douse the flames. So they had to have a rethink of strategy. Unfortunately, at the time, we had a very proactive district collector, and she suggested, why don't you start salvage measures and other things as a public-private mix. So being a Clean Coonoor, basically we were doing culverts, and at the time we were cleaning up a couple of rivers. And we needed some place to deposit the rubbish and silt which we sort of excavated from the rivers. And after the amount of time, I think around, it took us almost 2 months, 2.5 months to clean up the entire course of the 2 streams. And that yielded up around 18,000 tons of silt alone. So we thought, okay, well, why don't we get the municipality by sort of cleaning that place up and depositing this silt in the empty landfill cells and other things. And soon about dump yard, we cleaned it up and started landscaping the entire area. The municipality also started putting up a building which will act as a resource recovery center, which will handle dry waste. And that was completed around September 2019. And we from Clean Coonoor, through donations from very many interested individuals, and particularly one person from Hyderabad alone, who put in a lot of effort and money. And we sort of got the basic machinery to dispose the dry waste. But mainly it was a baling machine which could compress plastic and paper which are too bulky to be, what you can say, cost effectively transported to recycling centers into convenient bales. And of course, we needed some solution for trash which had to be disposed by incineration. And since incineration was not allowed, we thought, why not go in for high temperature burning? There's a difference between the two. Incinerators use fuel, but a high temperature burner doesn't use fuel. It just burns and functions with the heat generated from whatever it is, trash is spent into it. And soon we got these erected. And of course, by 30 October 2019, the facility was inaugurated as a 3-ton unit. We were supposed to get 5 tons, but we started out as a 3-ton unit on 30th of October 2019. So this is the cleanup process. I mean, taking all the waste away, applying the soil, leveling it out, involving the community to beautify the area. As to these are students from the same school laying out a small lawn over there. And of course, you had to involve, I mean, there's a baler being installed, the construction, the collector inaugurating the site. But we soon found out that 3 tons handling capacity was not enough. And we upgraded the unit to a 5-ton center. The burner which we initially procured seemed to be, what you can say, inadequate for our climatic condition. So we had to buy another couple of burners. And as a further refinement, we, instead of resorting material or a masonry trough, we went in for a sifter cum conveyor system somewhere around June 2021. So these are the burners. The one on the top right is a sifter being, conveyor belt being installed. And this is how the conveyor belt functions. Either side, our workers stand over there and sort the trash which is dry waste which is brought in. And again, there was a question of poultry waste which the municipality couldn't handle. So we set up a small poultry waste disposal unit way back in 2019 itself. But with that experience, we sort of thought, why don't we take in some of the wet waste which the municipality can't handle. And so we upgraded that unit into a full-fledged wet waste processing center just this December last year. This center not only takes in the difficult forms of wet waste, such as poultry and fish waste and your fibrous waste, but this is also equipped with future needs in mind. And of course, we have something which other districts don't have: spikes in tourism, where garbage generated increases twice or even thrice or even more. So another one thing, this will also be in case the municipality is not able to handle the photons which they are handing out. This center is equipped to deal with that surplus also. So what is this partnership of both the municipality and us? It's just an MOU. There's nothing legally binding or anything, right? It's not a lease or anything. It's just a memorandum of understanding. The municipality provides us a space, electricity, water, and whatever. And it also ensures that the trash collected at doorstep is delivered to the processing units. We on our part assure the municipality that we will handle whatever trash they send us at 100% handling. And of whatever dry waste is sent, 50% we'll try to recover. So our dry waste center functions as a, what you can say, a material recovery facility. Out of that, 50 should be recyclables. And this we will try to take it out and sell it off or safely dispose. Another one thing, we assured zero landfill, and I'm happy to state we don't have any landfills right now. One great challenge was safe disposal of e-waste, and of course the wet waste, scientifically handling the wet waste and safe handling of leachate. So this is the partnership between us and the municipality. They bring the trash, we process the trash safely and dispose of it. So I was saying that we have dry waste and we have wet waste. So how do we deal with the dry waste? I mean, your, what you can say, non-degradable stuff. But we expected to have around 5.6 tons. But I said 1.6 tons are sold out. So 5 tons should come in, but 3.5 tons come in right now. This comes in as a single stream. Dry waste with both recyclables and non-recyclables mixed. We call it a dirty MRF. This sort of what you can say, a unit. So we run it along the lines of a dirty MRF. Here we have waste is spread out over a conveyor belt after initial sifting, and we proceed to sort of recover whatever recyclables there are. We have identified some 6 major recyclables. For example, plastic, paper, rubber and related other things like that. Your glassware, e-waste and something. And out of these, we have 19 other substreams. All this is collected, and what material is considered to be too bulky for transport is compressed into 200 kg bales, which measure very little. What would occupy half this room is compressed to a small block which can be easily conveniently transported. So the photograph shows our staff working over there. So this is a baler. A man has compressed all the plastic which had been collected the day. Some 200 kgs or between 200 250 20 kgs can be baled with this way. And the photo on the top shows the bales stacked like this, and we're able to get out 14.55 tons of plastic as a single load in a normal lorry. Otherwise, if we are not baling this sort of in this way, we will maybe hardly be able to get 3.5 tons of the same lorry. So it works out that it's transporting this to the recycling center or disposal center is much cheaper. So this is how all the materials are being dealt with. As far as plastics are concerned, we've got 4 types of recycling. For your high value plastics, it's either primary or secondary. The plastic object is recycled to the same plastic object, that's primary. Secondary will be where a plastic object is made into another plastic object of a different kind. Tertiary will be you get something out of the plastic. I mean, it's not totally destroyed, but plastic is a petroleum product. So you try and extract oil out of it. That's the tertiary. Quaternary will be just co-burning this plastic into furnaces to release its energy. Heat will be generated. This is usually done in the cement kilns in and around Ariyalur and Trichy. So a low-value plastic forms the bulk. This is made into bale form, and usually we try to send it to Hyderabad because Hyderabad is the only place which takes in this sort of a plastic for pyrolysis, whereby they extract oil out of this waste plastic. And in case we are not able to send it to Hyderabad, we send it to Ariyalur and Trichy for co-processing as fuel in the cement factories. High value plastic is not a big problem. We dispose it around Coimbatore, Metropolitan, E-Road. Paper goes to Bhavani Sagar, mostly Bhavani Sagar. Tires to Metropolitan. Footwear right now is, we have a bottleneck. Previously, Delhi was taking footwear for co-burning quite large numbers. Now, there's a Supreme Court ban, and now we're stuck with footwear. Anyway, we are trying to send it to Sultan's Battery in Kerala, where it is reused as what you can say, animal feed and fertilizer, something like that. And glass, of course, we send it out locally. So these are the different ways by which we sort of identify recyclables, transport them, and dispose them. Now, recyclables can be disposed of easily. What about the non-recyclables? Main raw non-recyclables are ones which have to be burnt. Almost 40% of the trash which lands up at the municipal waste, waste management center has to be burnt, mostly made up of your diapers and sanitary pads and all your domestic hazardous waste. In addition, you have soiled paper, which can neither be buried or recycled. Then paper contaminated with what you can say, food, chemicals, etc., etc. And of course, there's clothing also, which may be contaminated with some sort of a hazard. All these we burn. Next, we have a small residue, which is almost like soil. This we use it as what you can say, topsoil conditioner. Ash from the incinerators are now being used in a wet waste processing unit as a composting as a bulking agent. So these are the achievements. We have been able to achieve a recyclable recovery rate of 50% from May of last year. Previously, it used to hover around 30. Then we managed to sort of increase it to 40. Now it's at 50. I don't think it can go even more than that unless the facility is changed into a clean MRF, whereby you get 2 streams of dry waste. Recyclable separate and non-recyclable separate. But I think that is what is it, wishful thinking. We achieved zero landfill. We also reduced incineration by 10%. We just don't want to burn everything, and we try and save something from the flames. I have identified new markets and some 13 additional streams. So this is the recovery rate over the past 15 months. We should do a cohort type of analysis. As you can see, October 20, we were hovering somewhere between around 30 to 40%. But now, right from May 2021, we are maintaining 50%. And I hope this sort of picture will continue. So this is the numbers, plain numbers of what we have saved from the garbage which has been delivered. Some 379 tons of plastics and around 235 tons of paper related. Of course, rubber and leather 131 tons. Around 150 tons of glassware and e-waste around 15 tons. So more than 800 tons we have been able to save and send for recycling. A total of 2,000 tons has been handled so far, and the rest has been safely disposed of. So this is just a projection of what is the environmental impact of our action over the past 2 years. Of course, we are yet to sort of convert this into carbon credit points. And of course, I think we'll be doing it shortly. So this is the dry waste composition. So 3% alone is high value plastics. And the chunk is taken by low value plastics. So that is your polypropylene pouches, your, multi-layer plastic and such. Some 10%, around 10% is paper and cardboard. Leather and rubber, very minimal we get. Some 7% is glassware. And of course, we have a compostable residue of 13%. That is your soil and small quantities of food waste coming in. Bulk will be 50% will be incinerable waste. The next, leaving dry waste. Now coming to waste processing. Here the methodology is totally different. We took into consideration local conditions. Of course, Swachh Bharat, solid waste management rules gives a set of guidelines. Most of our municipalities have adopted a method which is known as in-vessel composting, whereby all your wet waste is shredded and sort of deposited into bins where it's led to compost. But when it comes to bins, there's a limiting factor. So a certain bin can take in only certain liters of wet waste. So taking this into consideration, we didn't go in for the bins, but we have adopted a conventional windrow composting system rather than these in-vessel methods. Because one thing, windrows can be easily manipulated. So when you have very hot weathers, windrows can be made of a smaller size. If it's very cold, then we can double up the size of windows, something like that. We can have manipulated. And usually shredding is advocated for wet waste management for homogenization of the waste. And the recommended size is 1.2. Again, here we went against rules. Instead of a shredder, we went for a pulverizer, which, what I can say, turns the paste into waste, particularly your chicken waste and other things. Feathers, everything's become pulp. But only disadvantage with this sort of method is, even though it composts easily, there will be a lot of leaching, a lot of moisture. So to counter this, we have our ash lying all around our tea factories. So we use that ash as a drying and a bulking agent. And instead of going to expensive solution like what essential microbes, whatnot, we just went in for simple cow dung slurry as a inoculum to start what I can say decomposition. So there's a few pictures are taken in a compost area. It's just now 1.5 months since we started it. So this is what on the left, a turning process is taking place. Once you make a windrow, that has to be turned very frequently so that what it is totally aerated and decomposition takes place effectively without going into anaerobic conditions. The next picture shows the compost, finished compost being dried in beds. And this is the seed compost, the last one. So it's just 1.5 months. We can't claim any great achievements. But even with this climate, we have managed to bring out good quality compost weighing around 10 tons in just 35 days. Other places, even Hyderabad, in this weather, I think there's somewhere they're from Hyderabad also. It takes around 60 days to compost in this winter, but somehow we managed to compost it in 35 days. And this we sent it to a lab in Coimbatore for testing, according to the FCO order of 1985. And as far as municipal compost is concerned, people have their own reservations actually. Fertility index, so there are two indexes by which I would like to go. One is fertility index and the other one is clean index. For municipal compost, fertility index is usually very high. But when it comes to clean index, it is usually low. That is because there's contamination with heavy metals as far as municipal waste is concerned. But our compost turned out as expected. Fertility index was satisfactory. But what was very surprising was the clean index was very high. It scored 4.3 out of 5. For this, the credit I would like to entirely give it to the sanitary workers. Because if a couple of batteries had been contaminated, mixed with this wet paste which they bring in, the picture would be entirely different. If some other metal or something had been mixing, then the entire picture would be different. If paper had been mixed, lead content would have gone up. So the entire credit of bringing in a clean compost goes to the sanitation workers of the Coonoor Municipality. So anyway, we have a class A compost instead of just a restricted use compost as seen in most municipal compost. Okay. Then there was a question of legacy waste. Of course, we managed to take some, but still there were some legacy waste lying around. This is the legacy waste, the old ones, the ones which had been dumped for a long time. This we handle along with the municipality by manual biomining. Okay. Other areas they use mechanical biomining where the tonnages are high, but since we had a limited tonnage of around 4,000 odd, we went in for manual biomining where everything was shifted out, and the municipality designed a sieve, a rotary sieve, to which all this mess went in, and the recyclables again, non-degradable matter was sorted and disposed of as discussed earlier, and the rubble and other things, we filled up old excavations, pits and other things like that. And the seed soil, we use it as a topsoil conditioner. So this is a CEO in action. This our man applying the soil to a small garden. Well, of course, you can see the results for yourself. We had a very beautiful garden last year. There's some more pictures of a garden using that seed for soil from the legacy waste. A little more. And of course, this is our latest venture, eco-restoration. This is a landfill site. I wouldn't say landfill, I mean a dumping site. Municipality and our staff, we cleared up the entire area, hand-picked all the plastic and planted it over with native grassland shrubs. Results seem to be very encouraging. Some 6 months have passed and we got a nice grassland in the making. And of course, we think we will try and sort of replicate this eco-restoration in other parts of the country, which we are now slowly cleaning up. But everything is not rosy. There are certain challenges which have to be addressed. And one thing, we are really proud that we achieved a recovery rate of 50%. We have gone in for zero landfill, but still we are handling only 3.5 tons per day as against some 5 tons which should come in. 6 points odd should come in, but 1 point odd is being sold out. Okay, that's gone. So at least 5 should come in, but that isn't happening. We are just getting around 3.5 tons per day. And these are some of the reasons for the shortfall. In slums, there's poor collection. Of course, the municipality is cash trapped. I don't think the municipal market has paid the rent for quite some years. And of course, there are a lot of issues. So they have inadequate staffing. They have inadequate vehicles. So the collection circuits are not enough trips. So some trash is being missed out. And of course, there's one problem about the collection time. It is not what I can say elastic, it's rigid. And again, there's a problem of public holidays and inclement weather where collection doesn't happen or sort of happens very minimally. As I said, screening out of more valuable articles of trash. Other problem which we are facing, not a problem, a challenge which we are facing right now is safe markets for disposal of leather and rubber products. And of course, the e-waste class, we are working on it. Leather and rubber, as I said earlier, we have contacted Kerala. Now with this COVID raising, we have just lying low. As soon as the normalcy is reached, we'll be sending our accumulated leather products to Kerala. Phosphor coated class, I think we have to send it only to Chengalpet. Of course, the third biggest challenge ahead is the fiscal deficit. Even though we have titled it Waste to Wealth, our sales proceeds just take care of just half our expenses. The rest we are bearing it through donations, grants, CSR, and etc. We would like this venture to be self-sustaining in the future. But what the material you sell out should at least take care of the unit. So that's the main reason why we have opted for the wet waste management center. So we think that will be what I can say, more profitable venture than dry waste, and whatever profits that are accrued over there can be pumped in to run the dry waste center. So fiscal deficit is another one great challenge. So this is the picture of the daily trash collection over the past 15 months. As I said earlier, it's not very satisfactory. I would like it to be around somewhere around 5 tons per day, but still hovering around 3.5. Of course, we had a dip during May, June, and July. That's due to the lockdown conditions. Again, trash collection this month is going down. And you can see there's a lot of variations with the graph. Festivals affect positively, you get more trash. Inclement weather, you get lesser trash. Lockdowns, of course, I don't have to elaborate on that. You get even lesser amount of trash. But anyway, we would like to, when we get a chance to present the same thing next year, I hope it will go up to 4 or 4.5 tons at an average. So I think I've taken enough time. I would like to conclude that saying that a public-private partnership along need-based and local-based solution with the backing can serve as a sustainable model for dealing with wet waste or dry waste or any waste. As far as the hills are waste management is concerned, there can never be one stakeholder. Everyone has to be involved, the government machinery, the private sector, citizens, everything. So as it is rightly emphasized over here, mismanaged waste is a misplaced resource. And with this, I think I'll wind up my presentation. I hope I've been clear. And I think I once again thank the Rotary for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vasanthan. It was a brilliant presentation, and you managed to show what can be done and where what has to be done. Uh, if you could stop sharing your screen now, I'm going to open the forum for questions. Please keep your questions to something that Dr. Vasanthan can answer in regards to their experience, because it will be otherwise we'll be going into discussions of what ifs and how is this. So let's I'm opening the floor for questions. Please raise your hand if you have a question, and then either Arun or I can call you out. Thank you. Dr. Rameshji, PDG Ramesh.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for giving me the opportunity, Meenakshi. Dr. Vasant, I've seen your presentation, very good and very much inspirational. Of course, these are the negative things. In one of your slide in earlier slides, you shown that you are sending this your waste to so many places. Some places are around 800 kilometers.
800 kilometers away. Yeah.
Some places are 500 kilometers. So would it be a great challenge for you to send in these things to that much of place? Won't you find any place nearer? Because it may give you a lot of cost also, a lot of other things. How you manage it? Is it a big challenge? Another thing, one more thing. In your waste management, you have shown that you're spreading it into the lawns, and your waste takes up 60 days or 70 days, whatever it is. In one of the meetings, somebody was told me that there is some tumbler system. I don't know whether you are taking it or not. Actually, where it was, in somewhere in Gujarat. They are what they are doing. They put it about 40-50 tumblers, small tumblers, for a society, because it's a big thing. Society can't have this much of land. They cannot provide you the land to spread this waste for the public. But I don't know whether that tactic is usable in that area or not. How do you comment on it? Thank you.
Okay, first question you were asking me, certain recyclables are sent at quite a lot of considerable distances. You're right. We have no other option. You can see that if you have noticed the slide, that happens only in the case of very difficult to recycle articles. Main thing, your low value plastic. When I say low value plastic, it's chiefly 50% will be your multi-layer plastic, which is useless. So this can be disposed either only by pyrolysis, and pyrolysis we don't have it anywhere here. We have rubber pyrolysis units in Europe. But as far as plastic pyrolysis is concerned, it has to be either.
Sir. Connections problem.
Vasanthan sir, we lost your audio.
Hello.
Dr. Vasanthan, if you can turn off your video and maybe the connection.
I think there's some connection issue.
Oh, yeah.
Now I think it's clear. So I'll just repeat what I said. As I said earlier, low value plastics can be dealt either by pyrolysis or by co-burning wind cement factories. So the nearest pyrolysis unit is in Hyderabad, 800 kilometers away. And the nearest cement factory where it can be used is near Trichy and Ariyalur, 300 kilometers away. So that is why this trash handling is not very remunerative. We operate in a loss. The distance is involved. And another one question, someone, I think you were asking about
tumbler system.
Tumbler system. We don't have a tumbler system over here. Quite interesting part. This is just old soil, which can be used only once. I was telling the compost was classy. See, compost, or what you can say, organic material, we got some gradings according to the Fertilizer Control Order of India. So class A will be high grade. And a class A, class 2, class B, C and D. All these can be used for agriculture. Then it comes your restricted use. So we didn't test the soil. We just presume this will be restricted use. So used it as a one-time application, because restricted use, you have to use either one time, or if you're going to use it continuously, then it should be continuous soil watering. Use it as just as a one time. But your tumbler system, I think the municipality in its home composting does something similar with drums actually.
Okay.
With drums actually for home composting.
Yeah, it can be used for a smaller society or a colony or whatever it is.
Or colony or a gated community or something like that.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
The next question is from Padmaja. Padmaja, are you there?
Yes, Meena. So, sir, you mentioned about poultry and fish waste. Can you just give us more information as to how it can be done if as a club we want to do it as a project?
You mean the poultry and fish waste?
Yes, the feathers and the ribs. And
Yeah, actually, the composting time for each component is different. Feathers will take a little more time to compose. You get me?
okay.
Able to get me?
Yes, sir.
Skin has if done separately. All three have different periods for composting. We have a different sort of. Actually, all this is trial and error. We developed a new, strategy where we mix everything. Okay, 20 parts of your cooked waste, your rice or whatever comes in from. Hello.
So we lost your audio.
voice.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear
Lost
me?
your audio. Yeah.
So mix it according. Hello. I think
Now,
that is.
your voice. Now it's working. It's working. Your voice. We're getting your voice.
Oh, you're losing my voice actually. Can I be heard now?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So we actually mix it in proportions. Poultry waste 1 part. 1 part will be fibrous waste, and 20 parts will be your regular cooked waste. All this we pulverize, pile it in windrows, inoculate it, keep on turning to every 2 days. That's the main trick actually. Even feathers get composted within 30 or 40 days, and after that it goes to the drying unit, final powdering and seeding.
I'd like to put in a word here to Rotarian Padmaja. There was a session sometime back about reusing chicken feathers, using the keratin content in the feathers for other purposes. So maybe if you were to get onto the website or one of our Instagram or any of our profiles, you might be able to find that session in more details, and you could always contact us for more details.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Arun.
Are there anyone else who have questions for Dr. Vasanthan here? Please unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
May I, Rotarian Meenakshi? This is Rotarian Shakti.
Please direct your question to Dr. Vasanthan.
Good afternoon, friends. Vasanthan sir, it was wonderful. Very unfortunate that I couldn't hear the full version of yours. I came in between only, but it was really informative and highly wonderful rather. Thanks to Rotarian Meenakshi and all other friends for arranging such a wonderful things. Greetings from 3203, sir. RI District 3203. So one small things from us. A small stick in the river or pond makes ripples across the pond, sir. So the genesis is that stick. See, we are all thinking about, we are talking and deliberating about the whole scenario of how to manage the wastages rather. I request being a hayman, being a layman here, and I'm sitting in the loop corner. My request for people like you and Dr. Meenakshi to create something simple so that each one in the house, let us start this process, right from e-waste to all the waste. So let us keep it simple. So simple process of keeping all the wastages out to be reduced. So it can be handed over to the organization like Rotary India and other things. So it will be reaching the mass. Once this is being done, the dream we are having of the clean world will be much easier to reach, rather, I suppose. My thing would be very simpler, sir, but please consider this, because persons like you are having a very good innovation in this segment. Reach the mass, sir. Reach the mass. Add some simple tricks. Give them some simple tips how to reduce the wastages, like e-wastages or daily wastages. What can be done simply on day-to-day life basis? We Rotarians are here to take the message to the society, sir. So give us some time, give us some tips, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, sure. We'll take this into consideration.
Yeah, may I?
Option, actually. We'll work it out with the
Dr. Dipankar?
Yeah, actually, thanks, Dr. Vasanthan, for lucid presentation. The first thing, we have an inherent collection problem in the hilly area compared to the plain in the sorry, rather, I'm just recovering from the COVID, so I have still that tough problem. Asha, in hilly area we have this collection problem compared to the municipal area. But one thing need to be done, that is segregation of dry and waste at the collection point itself. That means when the household itself, they should separately rather deliver these wet waste and dry waste. In fact, I have seen in Indore, it took nearly 3-4 months to educate the people, but once they have done it, more than 50% of the load was reduced on the central processing center. And this dry waste and waste collected separately was delivered at the center, and practically everything was processed, and collections and segregation at that point on the different, say, paper or glass or other thing, rather organic waste, everything is being separately handled. And finally, only the paper waste and the plastic waste, those are made as a bell form and transferred to the recycling center somewhere else. Otherwise, everything is being processed at the particular waste recycling center, and they were getting the compost, they were getting the gas. So that way, in fact, I had, when I visited that particular waste processing center in 2018 end or 19 beginning, I have taken quite a few photograph and video. So I'd be sharing in this ESRAG platform so that it will also add some more information to the whole process, and we can work together to see that we go for a better implementation even in the smaller place like Coonoor. Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Hello.
Yes. I think you're muted, Sudevendra Brahmavat. Mr. Devendra, please unmute yourself if you have a question.
हेलो, आवाज आ रही?
बोलिए
Can you
देवेंद्र
hear
जी,
you?
अनम्यूट करिए देवेंद्र आप अपने आप को।
Devendra, please unmute yourself.
हाँ, आप आवाज आ रही है अब?
Yes, it's coming now. Yeah.
हेलो,
Yeah, we can hear you.
अब आवाज आ रही है ना मेरी, मैडम?
हाँ.
हाँ।
Yes, yes.
मैडम, मैंने 2 दिन पहले एन रघुरामन जी का एक आर्टिकल में पढ़ा था, वही कोई टीचर कपल्स थे, उन्होंने स्कूल्स में
Excuse me, can you, this is a very diverse crowd.
Hello.
You can place your question in English, sir. It is a very diverse crowd.
हेलो,
देवेंद्र, can you put your देवेंद्र थोड़ा इंग्लिश में कर लो, ये सब यहाँ से बहुत अलग-अलग डिफरेंट कंट्रीज से लोग हैं।
No, I was समझ गया रमेश जी, समझ गया। Actually क्या one teachers couple collect against fees, school fees, he collects a waste of plastic waste, and thereafter he organize in village recycling plant. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
I think we are not able to listen, Devendra.
Is there anyone
Please.
else who has a question by the time Mr. Devendra comes back? Any question or thoughts? Dr. Vasanthan's contact number is on the chat. The website of Clean Coonoor and one of its is also on the chat. Are there any questions or comments? I don't see any other hands up. The floor is open now for any interaction. And before that, I would like
Meenakshi, just a minute. I think Devendra, you just want to put up an example that one of your colleague teacher is doing this thing. This may be an example for others and motivational for others. This is what I believe you want to say. Is it?
Yes.
Yes, that
Yes.
can be an example. There are so many motivational things throughout the country they are doing, whether it is school teachers or whether it is government job, whether it's Rotarians. There are so many examples which we can take up. Thanks for Devendra for the information.
Thank you, Vasanthan.
Ramesh, we are also make a happy school. So why not help school student?
You can do it. You can do it at your own. Yes, you can do it. You can do it in a happy school and all. The floor is yours. You can plan it and you can do it at your own. Whatever helps you required from us, from the seniors, we are allowed.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, Meenakshi, please.
Thank you, Dr. Vasanthan and Samantha.
Thank you.
The floor is for anyone who wants to get the recording. It will be available in our YouTube channel. But otherwise, you can just drop in a mail to me at mina@esrag.org, which is already there on the chat. If you want to contact Dr. Vasanthan, his phone number is there on the chat. So is the Clean Coonoor website. And what Dr. Vasanthan has said about the physical, I think as Rotary, especially in 3203, should start helping out physically and start learning from Clean Coonoor. And I think that would be one of the core messages that we as Rotarians can do to help Clean Coonoor in carrying on this work as we set up similar centers with ideas from them. I hope that we'll be able to match at least some of this physical help to you, Clean Coonoor. Keep up doing the great work. The floor is open if anyone wants to talk or interact. Thank you.
Hi, this is Shivabal from E-Road. Reporting a point made by Dr. Pankar and Vasanthan. The small towns, the problem is separating dry and wet waste. We have suggested one place near Chennai, a small town which they have collected by the municipality. We thought of giving separate baskets, blue and green for wet and dry, sponsored by Rotary, so that the culture of separating at house itself will make a lot of saving on the other side of separation of dry and wet waste, which even small clubs can take up a project and do that, so that it's easier for either the municipality or the people's participation, companies or the government can do that very easily. That side, if Rotary can take the initiative in educating them and supporting them being a basket, because first the property of the basket is Rotary's property. After 2-3 months, we can give it to them, so that the culture starts there and it's easier for to adapt. Thank you.
The
Have you had
municipality
success of
insist on segregation. That is what they do here.
Madam, E-Road, we have a separate company called the Sigma Global, which is they are taking up the project as. I think the Sigma, you must be knowing, it's a globally, they're very strong now. They have more than 200 crores of venture capital come in, and they are taking up the project globally. And though he is again, he's our satellite club member, Dharma, he's into solid waste management expert. And I think I can make Dharma and the doctor to meet once, like I can bring Dharma to Coonoor, or he can come down to E-Road. This guy is doing research on each and everything, even the waste he is trying to use that for the agriculture thing, and the plastics he is going to make as a stems, which we are going to use for the protecting the tree planting across the city and in the medical college. So every waste can be made as a product, and he is doing daily innovative kind of structures. So like the experts can meet and share kind of a thing, which is going to be a win-win situation for both the field, like Coonoor and the E-Road. And this guy, Dharma, is started in Kumbakonam. He made Kumbakonam zero waste now. And E-Road, of course, 70-80% of the old waste is already done as of now. And this guy is doing great job. The company itself is doing great job. And I couldn't bring him today because he's traveling. Otherwise, I would have brought him today for this meeting. Maybe the expertise or the experience can be shared in between, so that this is what I want to share. Thank you.
Are there any questions or comments? Can we call the meeting to close? Before we do that, Samantha, can we have a few words from you?
Thank you, Meena, for inviting us to this talk, and it was quite interactive. I think we had a lot of questions, interesting questions, and we hope to be of help wherever required. Anybody can contact us. Our contact numbers are there on the website. I've shared Dr. Vasanthan's number on the chat. And Mr. Sparks talked about giving baskets to each household. I think if the municipality insists on segregated collection, I think that helps a lot. In Coonoor, they do not collect if the trash is mixed. They insist on segregated. We get it at least wet and dry segregated to us. So that makes a lot of difference. And having no bins, the common bins is also of great help, because trash doesn't get mixed in the bins, in the big bins. We are no bin, I think district-wide we are no bins. So that again helps with the door-to-door collection and segregated collection. Thanks, Arun, for the wonderful words that you had to say about Clean Coonoor. And thanks, Meena, for inviting us here. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure, and I hope that through Rotary we can be of some help to move Clean Coonoor's agenda further and make it as a example for other small towns to adopt. Thank you all, and I will share the details of the recording as soon as it's available. Thank you so much. Thank you all for attending, and I would like to thank Nagjyoti for spreading the word across her contacts, and we had an audience of more than 50 for this talk, and I think it's a great start when we start talking about waste. On 6th of February, we'll be having the zero waste presentation from the Sahas group in Bangalore. We're looking forward to seeing you all there too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for wonderful presentation, sir. All across the world, everyone joins, just looking towards the flyer only. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you, Meena. Thank you, Arun, sir, for organizing this wonderful session.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a safe weekend.
Looking over such important webinar, Father. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you so much.